I remember banging on the piano already very early. So when I was 5, 6 years old. I got piano lessons from my mother, who was a good piano player too. And not only my father, but my grandfather and others were already musicians. And not only that, also one of my brothers, and I have 2 brothers, was a composer. I think the composing starts with banging on the piano and a little bit imitating of the things you hear. And it has been that for a long time, if not for the whole rest of your life. When I was 10 years old, we moved from Utrecht to Den Haag. That had to do with the jobs my father had, mostly conservatory jobs. And my brother Julian was studying in America, met Lenny Bernstein and Aaron Copland, who was his teacher in Tanglewood, etc., and a lot of other people. Jerome Robbins made choreography on the symphony he did there. And when he came back from America, he brought a lot of jazz records too. Also experimental jazz, big band of Stan Kenton, which has been very important for me too, especially the sound of the big bands at the time. I was then 12 years old. So since then, jazz has been as important as certainly classical music in general. I hated to go to classical concerts in Dvorak and Schumann, and it was very boring music when I was a teenager, let's say. Like all teenagers. Teenagers don't like that kind of serious music. And I didn't like it neither. And it's actually never got very much better, I must say. But nowadays I have a somewhat more wise judgment about a lot of historical music. So I finished my studies at the conservatory in The Hague, where we lived in, and where my father was director. After the examinations in '62, I moved to Italy to study with Luciano Berio, who was one of the leading avant-garde composers at that time, of course, early '60s. I can't really answer how good I was as a student, because you should ask the teachers. Luckily, they're all dead, most of them. It was very, actually, up to a certain point, shocking that, let's say in the late '60s, almost all young composers in Japan or Spain or America or name me, were composing a kind of neo-Weberian music. And from that point on, now that was very interesting because it was totally new, we thought. We now listen to Weber and Schoenberg and Berg as profoundly romantic 19th century German composers. That was at that time totally impossible. We saw Webern as a kind of Mondrian, completely abstract music, which it was also in a way. And that was what we picked up, and that means that you could go into a totally different direction, and all cliches, specifically cliches of entertainment and of romantic and tonal music, was totally taboo. This was very strange and is comparable to other taboos people need to move forward in a certain direction. And that was the excitement of the '60s.